What's up, greetings and salutations everybody. I'm Improv Thinking and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is kind of my first video back on my channel. I know it's kind of different from the other two videos that I have on here. One was a podcast with my sister and one was, I believe, a dance video that I had. And if you want to take the time, go check those out. I would much appreciate it. Give it a like, a dislike, a comment, a share, whatever you want. Any type of criticism is criticism and positive for me. So this whole video is just going to be kind of about me talking about any topics I really want to talk about, any things I want to share with you guys, maybe some stories, maybe some personal things that happened to me, or just ideas, or just anything that I want to share with you guys. And the start of this segment is going to be called Hear Me Out. And this is going to be the first episode of Hear Me Out, so hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, give it a like, give it a comment, share, whatever you want, dislike if you hate it. Let me know. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is kind of just self-resilience or self-reliance and just kind of hang in there. I'm currently at a point in my life where I'm not really struggling, but I could be doing better. There's a lot of obstacles in my way. There's a lot of things I want to do that I'm not really getting done right now. I haven't shaved. I haven't shaved in a while. My shirt, I didn't even take the time to put on a better shirt for this video. I really need a haircut, as you guys can see. I mean, look at this. Look at this mess. I really need a haircut. But anyway, back to the point of this video. Even though that a lot of difficult stuff and a lot of complications can happen in your life, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. I've gone through a lot of circumstances where I've felt very crushed and defeated and just almost as if I didn't really want to continue on anymore. But I've gotten through it and it led me to where I am today. Man, I really need a nap. I recently, this year, in June, my grandmother passed away to cancer, and it was very hard for my entire family, and including me. I don't think I grieved properly. I don't think I displayed and expressed my emotions in a proper way, and that I could have done it better. The one who it more affected was my mom, just because she was so close to my grandmother, being her daughter and her firstborn child. She was devastated. She was heartbroken. She's still having a tough time, but she's been hanging in there. And even though this loss has been a great, deep impact on her, she's been powering through it, and I'm really proud of her for it. So this is just an example of one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Just because something tragic and devastating happens in your life or to you, it doesn't mean that you can't keep prospering on, you can't keep doing better. I'm currently working a third shift job right now. Not necessarily the thing I want to be doing with my life right now, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. I currently live on my own, so I'm paying all my own bills. I'm just trying to take care of myself because it was something that I wanted to do ever since I was 16. I think I wanted to move out when I was 18, and I did it. And I mean, I might not be living in luxury, but I'm proud of everything I've done and accomplished so far. So, that's me. Another thing I wanted to share about is kind of being there for other people. Don't be afraid to step up for somebody in need, or don't be afraid to reach out to somebody, because there's a lot of people who may be like you that are struggling with something in their life, or they're going through something that they don't know how to handle, never been through, don't know how to deal with, and all they need is somebody to hear them out. Being a friend for somebody is a really good thing, and sometimes they don't always need it, and sometimes they may not want it, so it's good to offer that to them, or let them know that they can ask you. On the other hand, it's very good for someone to be there for you, but sometimes maybe they're going through some stuff too and they don't want to hear it right now, because if they hear about how difficult things are for them, maybe it'll make them even more upset. Or maybe you'll do the opposite, and maybe it'll make them feel better because they're not focused on the things that are happening to them right now. Regardless, it's always great to ask for permission from somebody, if you can vent to them, or if they will listen to you out, or if they can give you advice. Because your friends are not licensed therapists. They do not have the skills or necessary credentials to evaluate you or give you any type of diagnosis. They are your friends. They are supposed to be there to support you and to listen to you and give you advice that you may or may not want to take. Moral of the statement here is don't be afraid to help somebody out. Be there for each other and be a good person. I have two stories that I want to share with you guys. The first story is personally from myself. When I used to be a ballroom dance instructor in Pewaukee, I was in Milwaukee for an event that was going on, and when it was all over, I went to the gas station to get some gas and get a snack. When I walked into the gas station, there was a older gentleman. He wasn't really old, but he was past his middle age, but he wasn't in his 60s. That's as best as I can sum it up. What he was doing was he was buying a small breakfast sandwich thing, you know, like you see at like Quick Trip or Citgo, Speedway, wherever you go, and I think a coffee. And coffees are pretty cheap, like $1.50 or something, depending on the gas station you go to. Maybe it's cheaper, maybe it's more, I don't know. But that was all he was buying. And honestly, when he went up to the register, I was right behind him. I was just getting like a drink and some chips or something for the ride back, because I had a long drive back from my work. And when he went up to the register, he was paying in change. Like I could sympathize with him. I've been there. It's kind of humiliating, honestly. You feel so ashamed of yourself because you're paying with just change. You have no dollar bills, you don't have a credit card or nothing, and you just feel like people judge you. I just want to say that that's not the case. If you ever pay with change, don't ever feel ashamed. Change is still money. That is money that you have either made or earned yourself, or, you know, however you attained it, that's your money, and it's still good money anywhere. They'll accept it. Don't feel ashamed that you've ever had to do that, because I've had to do that, and, you know, it might feel kind of sucky, but hey, everybody's been there, and if they haven't, whatever, they can understand. So back to the story. So he was paying with change, and he actually didn't have enough because he thought the breakfast sandwich was a different price than what it actually was. It was like maybe $1 or some more, and he could only afford the coffee. He asked the clerk, he's like, "Oh, I thought it was this much," and he's like, "No, sir, it's actually this much." The man said, "Is there anything you can do? Can you just give it to me for the price that I thought it was?" Because maybe there was a sign, maybe it was just a miscommunication. I don't really know the situation all too well, but I just know that he thought it was a different price when it was actually a higher price, and he couldn't afford it. The clerk actually told him, "No, sorry, I can't really do anything for you. Do you still want the coffee?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll take the coffee." Me being behind this man, I just looked, and I just, you know, this man was just trying to get something to eat. He was hungry, and he wanted a cup of coffee and something to eat with it. So I just stepped up and told him, "Hey, you can just give him that stuff and I'll pay for it. Just leave it scanned up and I'll put it for it." And the man turned to me and he looked at me a little surprised, but also kind of really relieved and really happy, which made me feel good. And, you know, that's also another reason to do something good, is to make yourself feel good. You know, a lot of people say that you don't get anything out of it, but you do. You get the feeling of helping somebody who really needed it, or not even who really needed it, who just wanted a little help or needed a little help, and you were there. The clerk actually was more surprised than the man. He said, "Really? You're gonna pay for it?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "No worries, just let him get it. I'll pay for it. I guarantee you I have enough." And he was like, "Oh, okay, well, you can go ahead, sir." And then the guy turned to me, he said, "Thank you," and he walked out. And he didn't need to say anything more for me to know that meant something to him. You know, all it took was the thank you, and I knew that I helped him out. Kindness is like ripples in a lake. You know, one thing can trigger another, and it just creates this whole chain of kindness, which is something that I think that we all should do. You know, let's spread the word of peace, love, and positivity throughout the world. I think that's something that we all have kind of forgotten, and I want to kind of bring back. One final story I want to share with you guys is one that actually my mom did, and I'm really proud of her for doing this. It was I can't remember where it took place, but it was at a quince that my sister was at, and she actually was staying after the cleanup. Shout out to my sister for helping out and supporting somebody else's event and special day. But my sister was helping cleaning up for the quince, and my mom had to wait for her for about an hour. And while my mom was waiting for her, she noticed a girl on the sidewalk, or the side of the road or something. And my mom could tell plainly that she was drunk, disoriented, and she was all by herself. The girl obviously either had friends with her or went out with somebody, or probably went out by herself and just got too wasted and just couldn't get home and didn't have a ride home. My mom actually pulled over and asked her if she needed a ride, and the girl said, "Yeah, I need to get home." And my mom literally spent about an hour driving this woman to find her house. She was so drunk that she couldn't actually remember where she lives, so everything was blurry, I'm guessing, and it was dark, so she couldn't see anything. She didn't know where she was, but eventually they found her house, and my mom dropped her off. And it makes me think about what would have happened to that girl if my mom actually didn't pick her up, or, you know, something terrible could have happened to her, and I'm glad it didn't. And I'm just really proud of my mom that she did that. And, you know, not a lot of people would take the time out of their night, out of their day, out of their lives to do something that extensive where it's spend an hour with a total, complete drunken stranger just to get them home safely. These are completely two different scales of kindness. You know, one was just a very small thing that just took, 2 seconds out of my day, and another took an hour of her nights and a little probably more effort than what I did. But you guys can do anything to help and support other people in the community. Give change to a homeless person. Buy them food. Some people are always a little skeptic to give money to homeless people because they're afraid they're not going to spend it wisely. One thing that everybody needs is food and water. You can always spend a couple bucks to help feed somebody. You can also talk to people. Some people are just very lonely and they just want to share just some of their experience and some of their time with you. I remember working I currently work at Calvin Klein, and I remember in the store, this has happened a number of times, but customers will literally come in, not buy anything and just look around, but they will spend the time just talking to me about things that are going on in their lives and just things that are happening with them, and some of it's actually really interesting, and it's kind of cool. Overall, I just want you guys to spread peace, love, and positivity, and just do an act of kindness for somebody, for yourself, whether it's motivating yourself, motivating someone else, helping somebody out, helping yourself out. Just go out and do it. Hopefully the video wasn't too long, and I hope you guys liked it. And if you did, please give it a like rating. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. I really won't care. Well, I will care. Let's be honest. But any critique, anything you guys have to say, I will 100% support and appreciate you guys giving that to me. Leave a comment below or share it with your friends. Also, one more thing before I leave. I also did a podcast with my cousin. His name is Jabron Zamudio, also known as Barber Breezy, I'm pretty sure, on Instagram. I'll leave that in the description below. I'll also leave a link to the SoundCloud. That's where you can find the podcast. On the podcast, we just talked about a number of things. It's an hour and 30 minutes long. You don't have to listen to all of it, but I would really appreciate it if you guys checked him out on his Instagram. He's an amazing barber. Bless him for everything he's accomplished. He's really doing well with his life right now, and I hope he keeps on prospering forward. Anyway, that's all the time I have. I really need to get some sleep because I have to work really soon, and I'm already cutting it really short on getting like 6 hours of sleep. So adios, peace and love and positivity. Have a good day.